Have you ever felt this? You send the text. Not a dramatic one, not even an angry one, just something simple, something soft. And then you watch the screen stay quiet, while the person you care about somehow feels farther away than if they had just said they needed space. And suddenly you're not just waiting for a reply, you're questioning everything. Did I ask for too much? Why do they pull away the second I get closer? Why do I feel so easy to love at first and so hard to stay close to after? Am I the problem? Here's the truth no one tells you. An avoidant usually doesn't realize your worth when you love them harder. They realize it when your energy stops making closeness feel like pressure and starts revealing what your presence was actually doing for their life. You're not failing at love. And this is not proof that you were too much. A lot of deeply loving people have stood exactly where you're standing. And by the end of this video, you're going to understand why chasing makes an avoidant detach, what actually makes them feel your value, and how to stop losing yourself trying to be seen. Let's get into it. Most people believe if someone is pulling away, the answer is to prove your love more clearly, to explain better, to reassure more, to stay softer, longer, harder. But the real truth is this. When you're dealing with an avoidant, their nervous system is reading pressure long before their mind can name what's happening. And that changes everything. Because what looks cold usually isn't just cold. It's overwhelmed. It's defended. It's someone whose system learned a long time ago that too much emotional intensity means losing freedom, losing control, or losing themselves. So when you chase connection without changing the emotional tone, they don't feel more loved. They feel more cornered. And when that happens, the love doesn't always disappear. It goes underground, beneath the surface, into silence, into distance, into, I don't know what I feel right now. Here's the part most couples miss. This is not about becoming less loving. It's about becoming more grounded. Not playing games, not pretending not to care, not making them jealous, but becoming the kind of person whose presence feels real, whose boundaries feel calm, and whose love is no longer asking to be chosen every 5 minutes. That's what breaks the anxious avoidant cycle. That's what lets an avoidant finally feel the difference between attention they can escape and connection they can actually trust. 1. Stop auditioning for love. Most couples fall into this without even realizing it. One person feels the drift, senses the walls going up, and starts performing harder for connection. They become more available, more understanding, more accommodating, more emotionally generous than they really feel. Because somewhere inside, they're thinking, if I can just love them right enough, they'll finally stay. But here's the deeper truth. An avoidant does not respect love that abandons itself. They may enjoy the comfort of it for a while, sure, but their nervous system also picks up something unspoken. This person is working very hard not to lose me. And once that energy enters the room, the connection shifts. You stop feeling emotionally available and start feeling emotionally dependent. Bro, that difference matters. So instead of saying, "It's okay, I get it, take all the time you need, I'll be here no matter what," when you're actually hurting, the connecting version sounds more like, "I care about you, but I'm not going to keep pretending this distance doesn't affect me. If we're doing this, it has to be real." And when you do that, you stop feeling like someone asking for crumbs and start feeling like someone whose presence actually has weight. 2. Make your energy harder to take for granted. Here's the part no one talks about. Most couples assume being constantly available proves love. So they answer every late-night breadcrumb, rearrange their day for scraps of attention, and stay emotionally on call even when the other person is clearly withdrawn. It feels loyal. It feels patient. But beneath the surface, it teaches the avoidant something dangerous. You will always be there, no matter how little I give. And that's the psychological trap. Avoidant partners often don't fully register value through constant access. They register it through contrast, through the shift in atmosphere when your warmth, presence, and emotional labor are no longer filling the space for free. Not punishment, not silence as revenge, not a fake watch me disappear, but a real return to your own center. So instead of replying instantly to every low-effort "you up" text after 3 days of distance, the disconnecting version is, "Oh my God, yes, I miss you. Are we okay?" The connecting version is, "Good to hear from you. I'm not available tonight, but if you want to talk intentionally, we can do that tomorrow." Something in them quietly registers, "Wait, they're not orbiting me anymore." That's when your absence stops feeling like a threat and starts feeling like a mirror. And that mirror is often what makes your worth real. 3. Let consequences speak where explanations failed. And this is the one most couples never figure out. Most people in relationships believe if they can just explain their pain clearly enough, the other person will finally understand. So they repeat themselves. Softer this time. Calmer this time. Longer this time. But an avoidant who already feels flooded by emotion will often hear repeated explanation as repeated pressure, even when your words are reasonable. Your nervous system says, "Please understand me." Theirs hears, "I'm failing again." That's why over-explaining rarely creates repair. It creates shutdown. Not more talking, not better wording, not the perfect paragraph, but reality. Calm, clean, real reality. So instead of saying, "I just need you to understand how much it hurts when you disappear because it makes me feel rejected and anxious and confused and I don't know where I stand," and the connecting version becomes, "I'm not available for inconsistency. If you want to build something real, I'm here. If not, I'm stepping back." That lands differently. Because what's moving through their mind is, "She's not trying to force me. She's showing me what my choices cost." And when consequences become clear without emotional chaos, the avoidant finally has room to feel what your constant explaining never gave them space to feel. 4. Become calm, not convenient. This is where it gets really interesting. Most couples think the opposite of conflict is connection. So they avoid tension, swallow needs, stay agreeable, and become incredibly easy to be with on the surface. No demands, no edges, no friction. But here's the truth. Avoidants do not open up more because you become easier to manage. They open up more when you become emotionally safe and solid. There's a huge difference. Convenient people feel adaptable. Calm people feel grounded. Convenient people erase themselves to keep the peace. Calm people stay present without collapsing. So the disconnecting version says, "No, it's fine. Seriously, whatever works for you," while resentment builds under the table. The connecting version says, "I'm not angry. I just know what works for me, and this doesn't." That sentence is clean. It doesn't chase. It doesn't punish. It doesn't beg. Man, it just stands there and tells the truth. And here's what changes everything. When an avoidant senses that your boundaries are not an attack, but an expression of self-respect, their walls don't get hit. They get invited to come down. 5. Stop interrupting their emotional process. Most couples panic when an avoidant goes quiet. And honestly, that panic makes sense. Silence can feel brutal when you're craving connection. It can feel like abandonment wearing neutral clothes. So, you rush in, you text again, you ask what's wrong, you try to fix the distance before it hardens into drift. But the deeper truth is this. Avoidants often process emotions slowly, privately, and with a lot of internal friction. Their nervous system is like a smoke detector that goes off fast and resets slow. When you chase them during that window, they don't experience you as loving presence. They experience you as more input when they already feel overloaded. That doesn't mean disappear forever. It means stop crowding the process. So the disconnecting version says, "Why are you shutting me out? Can you at least tell me what you're thinking?" The connecting version says, "I can feel you pulling back. I'm open when you're ready to talk, but I'm not going to force this." That creates something powerful. Their inner voice can finally say, "He's not trying to drag me into a conversation before I'm ready. He can actually hold himself." And when you do that, space stops feeling like a battlefield and starts becoming a bridge back to real contact. 6. Make them experience you, not just hear you. But here's what nobody explains. Most couples rely on words to carry the whole relationship. Talks about commitment, talks about effort, talks about where this is going. And words matter, of course they do. But with avoidant patterns, words alone often bounce off defenses that were built years before you ever arrived. Experience lands deeper. Presence lands deeper. Patterns land deeper. If you want an avoidant to realize your worth, they need to feel the difference between life with your grounded connection and life without it. Not through manipulation, not through punishment, not through some dating coach hack, but through the very real absence of your steadiness, your warmth, your turning toward, your emotional maturity. So the disconnecting version is a 3-hour conversation about how valuable you are and why they should stop taking you for granted. The connecting version is simpler. You stop overfunctioning. You stop carrying the emotional weight for two people. You let the room get honest. And suddenly they feel it. She's not managing the whole connection anymore. He's not chasing me into closeness. Wow, it's actually different now. That's when your worth stops sounding like a claim and starts feeling like a loss they can no longer ignore. 7. Choose yourself loudly enough for them to finally hear it. And this is the last shift. Most couples think the goal is to get the avoidant to come back, open up, choose better, become more emotionally available. But the real goal is deeper than that. It's to stop betraying yourself in the process of hoping someone else finally sees you. Because here's the truth. The moment you truly know your worth, the energy changes before the outcome does. You stop hovering. You stop bargaining. You stop treating their mixed signals like a puzzle you have to solve. And that identity shift is magnetic because it is real. This isn't a trick for avoiding conflict. This is what it looks like when someone has learned to love without losing themselves in the process. So the disconnecting version says, "I just need to know if you still care." The connecting version says, "I care about you, but I'm no longer available for a connection that only works when I ignore what I need." That sentence is not harsh. It's not cold. It's not a threat. It's self-possession. And when you live from that place, they stop feeling like the gatekeeper of your value. And you start becoming the kind of person no one forgets how to feel. This isn't a checklist. It's an identity shift. Because the truth is, you do not trigger an avoidant to realize your worth by chasing harder, loving louder, or shrinking smaller. You do it by becoming so rooted in your own value that your connection feels safe, your boundaries feel real, and your absence finally reveals what your overgiving used to hide. When you internalize this, you stop reacting and start responding. You stop trying to pull love out of someone's defenses and start showing up as someone who can offer love without abandoning themselves. And trust me, they feel that before you ever say another word. These aren't tips for getting someone back. They're the beginning of becoming the kind of partner you always wanted someone to be for you.